It is named after the 38th President of the United States, Gerald R. Ford. The Buckingham Palace has unveiled a new portrait of the royal family. King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla are pictured posing at the palace together in their black mourning attire the night before the Queen's funeral. The photograph will now adorn the walls of the palace amid several other historic portraits. Massive cleanup drives have begun in parts of Florida after the state was battered by Hurricane Ian, described as one of the largest natural disasters in Florida's history. At least 67 people died, and officials fear that that number could rise further. Several residents in areas are still dealing with the ramifications of the flood. What started off with the death of one woman in Iran, the anti-hijab protests are now intensifying across the globe.
The protests against hijab goes on. Dozens of protesters gathered in Beirut, Lebanon to show support for women's rights in Iran. The protests erupted after a 22-year-old woman died while being held by country's morality police. The demonstrators criticized the Iranian government. Some also waved headscarves similar to those of Iranian women. Similar protests were also seen in French capital of Paris. Thousands of people marched to show their support for Iranian protesters. Several female demonstrators cut off chunks of their hair and tossed them into air as a gesture of liberation. French feminist groups and leading politicians were among those who took part in the protests. Meanwhile, in Iran, over 90 women have lost their lives during protests. In the past 2 weeks, women rights activists have reported the killings of several people, including some security personnel, as government cracks down violently on mostly peaceful nationwide protests.
The Aphar Wat Mountains in the Pir Panjal range of Gulmarg received this season's first snowfall. Following the change of weather, several ski resorts located in Baramulla and North Kashmir have rejoiced at the opening of this year's business with the onset of snowfall. The snowfall is the sign of the beginning of winter in the valley. All right, Mario Shakil joining you with News Epicenter now.
Good evening. You're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. The murder of Punjabi singer Sidhu Moosewala sent shockwaves around the world. His murder in broad daylight exposed the nexus of criminals who operate from jails and under the watch of the police, continuing their rackets with impunity and without fear. This has been highlighted by the brazen escape of one of the accused in the murder case, a gangster named Deepak Tinu. He is a close aide of jailed gangster Lawrence Bishnoi, the man who hatched the plot against Moosewala and is accused of providing logistical support to the shooters who gunned down the singer. Tinu fled from the custody of the CIA unit of the Mansa police while he was being brought on remand from Kapurthala jail. The Punjab police has launched a search operation to nab the gangster and has arrested and sacked the Mansa CIA unit in charge, Sub-Inspector Preetpal Singh. He has been accused of helping the gangster escape by taking him out of the police station in his own private vehicle. The opposition is raining fire on the Aam Aadmi Party government, accusing it of being hand in glove with criminals. Moosewala's family has accused Bhagwant Mann of looking weak in front of criminals, questioning his promise of swift justice. The Aam Aadmi Party, meanwhile, has accused previous governments for the police gangster nexus, claiming they are taking action against such black sheep in the police of Punjab. But amidst this blame game, who should the common man look to for justice and faith in the law and order machinery? Who has allowed this nexus to thrive? And given the high-profile nature of this case, is the Punjab government guilty of treating it with kid gloves?
ਬੱਚੇ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਸਪਸ਼ਟ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਾਲੀ ਭੇਡ ਉਸ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਉਸ ਗੈਂਗਸਟਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀਗੀ। ਤੇ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦਾ ਔਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਐਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਖੋ ਕਿ ਇਮੀਡੀਏਟਲੀ ਉਸ ਕਲਪ੍ਰਿਟ, ਉਸ ਗੁਨਾਹਗਾਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਅਫਸਰ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ FIR ਦਰਜ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਡਿਸਮਿਸ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਤੋਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੱਲ ਹੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ।
आम आदमी पार्टी दरअसल गैंग्स और माफिया पर क्रैकडाउन नहीं कर रही, उनको समर्थन दे रही है।
अमीर आदमी पार्टी को इधर उधर हाथ पांव मारने की बजाय पंजाब में शासन दिया है लोगों ने, तो वहाँ पे कंसंट्रेट करना चाहिए।
ਤੈਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਹਾਲ ਤੱਕ 4 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਸਨ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਨਿਕੰਮੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਹੈ।
It is not just cop criminal nexus. What is evident now is that there is a cop criminal and politician nexus. Breaking now on News Epicenter is the inside details of how Deepak Tinu made his escape. Top sources are telling CNN News 18 that the Mansa CIA, Preetpal Singh, had taken Tinu to meet his girlfriend. What kind of understanding did they really reach? And how much money was paid to Preetpal Singh for arranging this kind of meeting? Preetpal Singh, who is now suspended and an inquiry has been initiated against him, is the black sheep in this Punjab police nexus that we keep talking about. He has also served as a member of the SIT probing Moosewala murder. If there was this understanding between him and the accused, then can we really say that there will be free and fair probe? Preetpal Singh accompanied Tinu to a hotel in the town of Junir. So that's where he actually escaped from. Tinu had grown close to Preetpal Singh, and it was he, then realizing that Preetpal Singh and he were completely in sync with each other, he prepared his escape. Preetpal Singh had provided mobile phone to Tinu, and that is what the investigation has also revealed. And these mobile phones were recovered from his barrack 2 weeks before the escape. Tinu had called his friends to be ready with a car because he was going to meet his girlfriend at a hotel, and Preetpal Singh, who was the CIA in charge, was in fact responsible for this escape. What is worse and shocking and deeply shameful for Punjab police or cops in any part of India is that Preetpal Singh was asleep in another room when Tinu in fact escaped. So what is worse is the details that are emerging in this investigation, which is clearly showing that there is much more than what meets the eye. Joining me now, Anil Sareen. He is the chief spokesperson of Punjab BJP. Arshpreet Kadial is advocate and spokesperson of the Congress. Dr. Sunny Ahluwalia is the spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. We also have Hemant Atri, senior journalist, Yashwardhan Azad, former IPS officer. Yashwardhan Azad, a cop here is an accomplice. And so what does it reflect on the overall investigations so far?
Well, I can say only this much, that the entire investigation is botched. And the worst part is that the Moosewala incident had raised such a hue and cry in the entire state. How can you allow a criminal who's taken out of the jail to go out in a private car and then visit a hotel? Obviously, it has not been managed properly by the senior officers. And the ostensible reason given is that he was taken out to find out something and to make some recoveries. This is a clear case of a conspiracy. This is a clear case of collusion. And this is nothing new, Maria. And that is why in such sensitive cases, you need a very strong upper hand. All over the country, this is happening. When the mujrim peshi is done by the people, by the constables out of jail or out of the police station and from remand, then this is what happens. Money is given to those constables, and then they attend to their personal needs, they meet their relatives, they go for good food and things like that.
Yes. So what is becoming clear here is, Yashwardhan Azad, that he is also the member of the SIT. So the investigation is botched up from the word go. then why should the family of Sidhu Moosewala, who is expecting justice at the hands of the state government and Punjab police, have faith in the administration or the entire nature of investigation? And all the promises that have been made by the Aam Aadmi Party government, Dr. Ahluwalia, they have no faith. Tinu was not even handcuffed. He was taken in a private vehicle of Preetpal Singh. What more evidence do you need of this collusion that is there?
The investigation about Preetpal Singh is going out, and in the initial investigation, though he has been suspended and hard action will be taken against him. The main thing what Aam Aadmi Party, all these old politicians have given birth to so many gangsters, and the style of people doing all this work, now they will not be spared because there is no godfather or any politician who is a godfather who can save anybody. Action has been taken and Bhagwant Singh Maan is personally monitoring the issue. The police has been alerted and everyone has been alerted till the Nepal because there are chances that he may run to Nepal, and all the actions have been taken place. Though we can understand that what these policemen have done by escaping him, but the investigation is going on and we are taking harsh steps to stop these kinds of actions. What previous governments have lost their authenticity.
So you are putting the blame on the previous government, and that previous government was of the Congress party. Arshpreet Kardial, any cleanup of a system cannot happen overnight. If the Aam Aadmi Party government has come and they are looking at cleanup, and if people like Preetpal Singh are black sheep, then their conduct will only lead to expose of this nature. So it's basically your government and the Akalis who have created this system of Nexus. Is the charge coming from Aam Aadmi Party? Go ahead.
Number one, it's not really overnight. Kindly allow me an uninterrupted minute. I don't think so. It's overnight. It's already been more than 6 months since Aam Aadmi Party came into power. And ever since they have come, the law and order situation of Punjab has not just been deteriorating. It's in shambles. Number two, when this incident happens, Mr. Bhagwant Maan was busy enjoying Garba in Gujarat. When this incident happens, and like Mr. Ahluwalia quoted that, back in the day also incidents have happened, or at all these kind of incidents, the Home Minister used to be here, the CM used to be here, especially in the head of the state. Please hear me out. Please do not interrupt. Please do not interrupt. I not continue. If you could please ask Mr. Ahluwalia to be quiet.
No, over 90
please,
gangsters.
Let's have a separate.
To these gangsters.
I not continue. I not you. Please talk. Please talk.
Why you are saving these gangsters?
I won't talk.
Why you are saving them?
I won't talk like
these gangsters.
I won't talk like this. I won't talk
like
this.
Saved them.
I won't talk like
Godfather.
I won't talk like this. If you could please have him.
For doing all this.
If you could please have him.
Dr. Ahluwalia, it is the government which will face questions if incidents like these are reported. Few weeks back, listen to me, Dr. Ahluwalia. Please respond to my question. If you're not ready to respond to your political opponents, respond to this question. Few weeks back, 2 mobile phones were recovered from Tinu's possession inside the Goindwal Sahib jail barrack, where he was lodged with 6 other accused in Sidhu Moosewala murder case. What did the police do then?
Police is taking hard action, and SIT has been formed for that also. Harjot Benz is directly visiting every jail of Punjab. But these mafias were created by whom? These previous governments. The Congress and the Shiromani Akali Dal and Bharatiya Janata Party has created a menace in Punjab and all over India, and they are trying to blame us.
Okay, Dr. Ahluwalia, listening to what the Congress is saying, please. You'll have to listen to other panelists as well. I have 2 other panelists who have not spoken. Please go ahead. Arshdeep, quickly.
Kindly, Mr. Thank you. Mr. Ahluwalia, please do not interrupt me. There are very important points. Number one, when this happens, the CM, the head of the state, wasn't here. And back in the day, when any incident used to happen, they accused the Akali Dal for the sacrilege incident, for the Kotkapura firing incident, saying that the Home Minister was responsible, the Deputy CM was responsible. Now, in the same logic that you have been accusing the Akali Dal of, how is Mr. Bhagwant Maan not accused? How is Mr. Bhagwant Maan not responsible? Number 2, the Aam Aadmi Party has time and again let these incidents happen. At first, Patiala incident happens. Then murders happen of Kabaddi players of Moosewala. And then we have protests, we have threat calls, we have extortions, we have abductions, we have drug rate at an all-time high. It is all because of the Aam Aadmi Party's incompetence and inexperience. Number two, the mother of Sidhu Moosewala, Charan Kaurji, she said there is no more hope of any justice ever since the Aam Aadmi Party has come.
Anil Sareen, spokesperson of the Punjab BJP. Look, the problem here is that the entire investigation.
That is what the mother of Sidhu Moosewala has said, that they have been helping them instead of punishing them.
Yes, the entire investigation and the promises that have been made since May 29th, since the day of the murder, has only shown several linkages that have been built. Someone who is inside the jail is actually plotting murder of someone. He is no ordinary person. He is actually a popular singer. The accused in all, there are 24 of them. The 17th suspect in this case and accused is a habitual offender. He is facing cases of murder, of other crimes as well. And what we see is that he manages to escape only because a cop, takes him in a private vehicle to meet his girlfriend, is sleeping in another room, and he manages to escape.
Maria, this is a case of an utter failure of law and order in Punjab. The manner of escape of category A gangster Deepak Mundi from the police custody is painfully mind-blowing. It is clearly a shabby case of connivance of Punjab police who almost foolishly and irresponsibly manipulated and facilitated this fiasco. It is dreadful to even imagine how the police stage managed it. As reported in the media, you also reported it, the police officer escorting this criminal gangster single-handedly, ignoring all the basic protocols and these SOPs. Prima facie, it looks as if the government official has done it in a pre-planned manner out of fear, bribe, influence, consent. God knows about it. Just imagine how atrocious and irresponsible it is even to hear that the concerned police officer arranged a mobile phone for him so that he can talk to other criminal gangsters, his mentors, his accomplices. And then he went on to the extent of consenting to accompany him to a place, a hotel, which is a totally unauthorized place, to enable his meeting with a close friend and then finally facilitating his escape.
Dr. Ahluwalia, the point being made by your political opponents are valid. And those are legitimate concerns. And instead of putting the blame कि आपके time पे ये हुआ, we are cleaning up the system, that is not how governance and the new age politics is. You have to take the blame.
They have given birth to criminals. They have given birth to mafias. We are trying to eliminate them. See, we cannot do this in 6 months. We need time. They have created so much fuss in state of Punjab by giving birth to criminals. This Bharatiya Janata Party, in collaboration with the Congress, has given birth. And these were given shelters by Congress people for so many years. What kind of state they have made? We request through you to people of Punjab. People of Punjab knows that
is what the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to say. Number two, I would ask Aam Aadmi Party just one question. What are you going to do with regards to the minister's statement? With regards to this case, will you sack it? Will you condemn it? Will you disown the statement? Is there anything that the Aam Aadmi Party is going to do about the minister's statement? He said it's a tiny issue. Do you condemn it? Do you condemn it? Do you condemn it or do you not? Do you disown the statement or do you not? Number two, you could punish the
They are not ready to
why have you not taken an action?
This is a very serious issue. You should debate
posted on Twitter that Mr. Moosewala's security has been withdrawn.
You just ask
when
them,
would you
which
take an
is
action
their jail
against that
minister
person?
who went to the jail
When would you take an action
and
against that person? Whoever put on your Twitter page that Moosewala's security has been withdrawn. By when Mr. Ahluwalia would the Aam Aadmi Party take an action against the person who posted on Twitter that Mr. Moosewala's security has been withdrawn? Why has nothing been done till date? When you can dismiss a CI inspector, why can't you dismiss your party leader or worker whoever posted on the page because of which Moosewala is no more against us? Number two, the minister's statement, you condemn it or do you not condemn it? Number three, I would
He
ask him from
may
the
be
Aam Aadmi
DSP,
Party,
he
are you
may be
giving us a
CIA, he
certificate
may
that no
be
matter what happens,
MLA of
always,
Aam Aadmi
will
Party,
always be
he
using
may
this
be
cover up
anybody
this
from the
excuse
party.
No,
that
but
we
Dr.
can't
Ahluwalia, Dr.
everyone.
Ahluwalia, this is not
going to
how
spare everyone.
governments
What
run.
happened?
You cannot constantly blame your predecessors. You have to
They
take
have given
action.
birth. They have given birth
You
to
cannot just
martyrs
say
and
that the police
criminals
has
in state
registered
of
a case
Punjab.
against all, including
No, no.
Deepak Tinu.
They will
How
be
did the
using
phone
this-
land in his barrack? What was
this
this
is-
cop getting
No,
in
see.
return that he takes him in his
This
private
is-
car?
You tell
And
me
he is
one
also a
thing.
member
You
of
tell me one
the
thing,
SIT that
madam,
has been set up
which
for the
was-
investigation of Sidhu Moosewala. So
No,
there are
the
several
action has
questions
already
that
been
remain
taken against
unanswered,
Pirpal Singh.
and even as we are
Action has
looking for
been taken
answers in
against
those
Pirpal
cases,
Singh.
in the entire
No,
investigation, there is another twist that has
niche-
come up now. Yes, Hemant Attri.
The initial investigation.
Hemant Attri.
Maharaj
Hemant Attri and Yashwardhan Azad now, please. Yes, go ahead.
Maharaj, I am afraid that this issue is such of a sensitive proportion that it needs much more better than the two member of the political party.
Absolutely.
And believe you me, this is the most shocking case in 25 years of my journalistic career. And I fully agree with what Mr. Yashwardhan Azad said. But there are 2-3 quick points that I would like to mention. This is not the first day before yesterday that this Pritpal, sub-inspector, he took this man to his girlfriend first time. He was doing it for last 3 days. So there are certain professional hierarchies in the police force, and Mr. Azad will 100% agree with me. What was the supervisory officer doing there? If at all a sub-inspector is taking a person who is accused in such a high-profile case, that too of a Sidhu Moosewala case, he is being taken in a private car for 3 consecutive days to his girlfriend. What is the supervisory officer and the overall system of Punjab police doing? That is point number 1. Number 2, this system, this is not restricted to only Punjab police. There is something more to it. On the same very day that Mr. Deepak, ran away from the police custody, there was one more fellow whom we all are missing. He is wanted in 9 cases, and he ran away from the custody of the jail authorities from Patiala. He was accused in 9 cases. The local SSP warned the jail authorities in July only that he can run away. Still, he ran away on a very special pretext on that. His name is Amrik. He was wanted in 9 cases of drug peddling. My issue is somewhat greater, Maria, and you will agree with me. This is not only police, this is not only Pritpal, this is not 1, 2 or 3 isolated people. This is a, gang of,
Is this almost like a culture in Punjab police, Yashwardhan Azad?
Precisely.
Well,
Precisely.
Oh, Maria, I feel very sorry for Punjab police, which had reached such glorious heights in defeating terrorism in Punjab.
That's right.
Has come down to this state of affairs. I have 3 very brief points to make. One is that the jail administration is in pits almost in all the states. Therefore, what this criminal had this mobiles, he didn't even need the support of the policemen. The prison authorities do it very well. The prison authorities come under the state and they provide almost everything to the VIPs or to gangsters. Second point, the SIT team, since it was a part of ongoing investigation, when you make a recovery from a criminal, you take him out of jail. Therefore, the persons involved with the investigation are doing it. So this is like amanat mein khayanat, what this Pritpal Singh has done. And unfortunately, it's so shocking, and I can't believe it, that in such a high-profile case, there is nobody even to look at it as to what recovery has been made and what has been done so far. And the third part is, yes, the administration is involved. If you have a state where 8 DGPs have changed in a spate of, 12 months or something, what kind of stability can you expect? You really have to get Punjab police on the block again, because these kind of things otherwise will keep happening.
On that note, I would end this discussion. Thank you so much for joining us. Anil Sareen, Dr. Ahluwalia, Ashdeep Kardial, Hemant Attri and Yashwardhan Azad. We are slipping into a short break. After that, BJP's mega outreach to Jammu and Kashmir, from the Valley to the United Nations. That and much more when we return. Stay with us.
including inside the Sikh temple. BJP leader Manjinder Singh Sirsa, while sharing a video of the incident that's dated September 29th, condemned the act and demanded the Indian government to intervene, take prompt action and also raise the issue with the Pakistani government.
सारा स्टारकास्ट जूतियां दे अंदर दिखाई दे रहा। एक श्रद्धालु ने इसकी वीडियो बनाई, जिसने वीडियो बनाई वो वीडियो कहता सुन रहा है कि आपको पता ही नहीं है ये सिक्खी कैसे मिली है। लग रहा है कि वो भी मुसलमान है। 29 तरीक तो ये आदमी नहीं लभदा पिया। पुलिस प्रशासन ने शायद इस ते कार्रवाई करके इन्हू अंदर बंद कर दिता। और जिस गुरु घर के श्रद्धालु ने वीडियो बना के ये जनतक की लोगों ने जानकारी दी है, उसकी जान की राखी की जाए। पाकिस्तान की सरकार को तुरंत इन लोगों को फड़ के अरेस्ट करना चाहिए जिन्होंने गुरु घर की बेअदबी की।
The Parvat Mountains in the Pir Panjal range of Gulmarg received its season's first light snowfall. Following the change in weather, several skiing resorts located in Baramulla area of North Kashmir have rejoiced at the opening of this year's business from the onset of the snowfall. The snowfall is the sign of the beginning of winter in the valley. 2 labourers died and another one was injured in a wall collapse incident in Gurugram today. The dilapidated wall fell on the labourers while getting demolished. With one injured sent to the hospital, efforts are currently on to evacuate the other labourers. One person died and several others were injured as a passenger bus fell into a roadside ditch in Jammu Kashmir's Udhampur district. The unfortunate accident happened in the wee hours of the morning. The injured were shifted to the hospital where they are undergoing treatment currently. 7-year-old child died during treatment after getting critically injured in an e-scooter blast in Mumbai's Vasai. A case has now been registered and further investigation has been initiated by the Manikpur police station. A fire broke out at a Durga Puja pandal in Uttar Pradesh's Bhadoi district on Sunday evening, injuring more than 50 people and also killing a 12-year-old boy, unfortunately. According to the district magistrate, the fire started due to a short circuit. The fire brigade, however, brought the fire under control in an hour's time. As the Russian invasion of Ukraine enters its 8th month, an opera house in Kharkiv, which was hit and destroyed by a missile, has now been converted into a memorial. My colleague Sanjay Suri with this ground report.
This year behind is a memorial to those who died fighting and to those still fighting for Ukraine, fighting bloody battles and very difficult battles. And beneath that memorial, all around it, the sandbags and the flowers between them say just about everything that needs to be said about Kharkiv today. Not many people walk by these flowers anymore or stop to look at them. Most people who lived around them have left. No tourist steps by to set eyes on them. But quite obviously, a lot of Kharkiv's gardeners have not left, and they are no more immune to missiles than anyone else.
Welcome back. Let's now take a look at some more stories doing the rounds from India and around the world. Congress leader Sonia Gandhi arrived at Mysuru airport today. She is all set to join the Bharat Jodo Yatra that's led by her son and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on October 6th. Currently passing through BJP-led Karnataka, the Yatra is in its second stage and is all set to move with its 125 designated Yatris from Mysuru this Thursday. Security has been stepped up across Jammu and Kashmir with additional troops being deployed.
There are numerous instances of involuntary labor by women, cooking, cleaning, sheltering, militants, sexually violence and assault on women.
Welcome back. In a historic move, victims of terror from Jammu and Kashmir got a platform to speak at the United Nations Human Rights Council. Just days after Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif played the Kashmir card once again at the Global Forum, accusing India of illegally and unilaterally occupying Kashmir. They have accused Pakistan of threatening locals, using their homes as safe houses, forcing them to speak against the Indian government and sexually assaulting women in the valley. After decades, they have been given a platform to counter Pakistan's propaganda and that terrorism is solely an internal problem in the valley and not exported from Pakistan. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has also hit out at Pakistan, calling them experts of international terror. This comes after 2 terror attacks in Udhampur and Pulwama right ahead of Home Minister Amit Shah's 3-day visit to Jammu and Kashmir. The Home Minister has now touched down in Jammu and is leading the centre's campaign for a security and Vikas revamp of the Union Territory. The security situation in the Kashmir Valley remains delicate, namely for migrants and Kashmiri Pundits. But the crackdown on terror continues amidst a major development push to achieve normalcy. Is the centre now waging an international battle of optics to challenge Pakistan's propaganda? Joining me on the show, Tuhin Sinha, spokesperson of the BJP, Sushil Pandit, activist, Kashmiri Pandit, Ahmad Ayaz is a political analyst. We also have Ashok Sajanhar, former diplomat, and Abdul Samad Yaqub. He is the spokesperson of PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Ambassador Sajanhar, repeatedly Pakistan has used international platforms to send a message convenient for itself regarding Kashmir. It was always about India versus Kashmir. Do you think that is being effectively countered by India repeatedly? If you look at it, since September 2021, India has been pretty vocal that Kashmir is an integral part and that Pakistan has no stakes whatsoever. And this move at the UNHRC, when Kashmiris themselves said that it's Pakistan which is actually bringing in terror in the valley and it's not something that's internal.
Well, thank you very much, Maria, for having me on your program. You know, I would say that this is one of the steps, a very important step in, putting paid to the Pakistani propaganda. You know, India has been really talking about the cross-border terrorism, international terrorism, how Kashmir and of course many other parts of India have also been suffering as a result of terrorism that we have had to face for last 20-30 years. But I think this is a very welcome move, because when our Kashmiri brethren and sisters, they go to any of the international platforms, UNHRC or other places, I think the manner in which they speak, because they are the ones who have gone through this experience. It's not, like someone who might be reading from a notes or something, but these are the people who feel what they are saying. They are saying from their own personal experience. And I think this empathy will really travel across to all the listeners and to all the viewers. So I think this is a very welcome move. Of course, this needs to be done, Maria, in addition to what we have been doing elsewhere, in the past, and should continue to do. Whether it is any multilateral fora, whether it is our bilateral discussions with US, with Quad and all the others, so that they are all sensitized, so that, when there are discussions at other fora, whether it is to keep Pakistan in FATF or take some other actions, those countries are also fully au fait with what, Pakistan has been.
Yes, it's been 3 years since the status quo which has existed so far in the Kashmir narrative was dismantled and challenged, certainly, since the abrogation of Article 370. Abdul Samad, we have seen how the valley is changing and undergoing that transformation. Why is Pakistan continuing with its propaganda? Don't you have enough and more concerns? Doesn't the government there of Shehbaz Sharif have enough and more concerns back home, domestic challenges which are evident, rather than bringing an issue which is purely Indian?
Well, first of all, the Kashmir was the bone of contention between Pakistan and India. Kashmir is a bone of contention between Pakistan and India, and it will remain the core issue between these two nuclear states. So what we need to do is we need to resolve this historical issue, which this is the outstanding issue between us.
But it's hardly an outstanding issue. I don't think so. Pakistan is really a stakeholder in this anymore.
I mean, at this moment, when you are saying that even though your Prime Minister Vajpayee and furthermore various Prime Minister has admitted that this is the bilateral issue between Pakistan and India, but the one who actually suffer is the Kashmiri people. And the family you are showing, if someone, I mean, we cannot take this family as the opinion of or the general sentiment of the whole Kashmir, that if someone is alleging
why not? If the family is a victim of target by Pakistan, if the family is of a Kashmiri minority, the Hindus of Kashmir, and they are being targeted by Pakistan, then they are a stakeholder and they represent Kashmir. Go ahead, Tuhin Sinha, respond to him.
Good evening, Maria. You know, I think the Pakistan needs to grow out of the delusion that it has any stake in Kashmir. When India and Pakistan became independent, Maharaja Hari Singh had a standstill agreement with both Pakistan and India. Pakistan broke that agreement. India turned out to be the savior. So I think from that point onwards, Pakistan should have moved away. And I think had they not been so delusional, they would have saved a lot of lives and would have been a progressive nation. Now, coming back to the recent development, I think it's a path-breaking moment in the history of Kashmir, and also in the way human rights movement has evolved in India, because till so far, till a few years ago, people like Teesta Setulwad had basically distorted the entire human rights movement. We need to acknowledge that the biggest victims of human rights are, the human rights violations are mostly, and in all cases, perpetrated by terrorists. If you realize the changes which have happened in Kashmir, we no longer refer to the word separatist. The people who have harmed the people of Kashmir are outright terrorists. That's point number one. Point number two, Pakistan again is being called out, and it is about time that with all the problems Pakistan is facing, finally it realizes that it has no business in Kashmir and moves out. And obviously, all of it has happened because of the wonderful diplomatic prowess that India enjoys under leadership of Modi ji and Mr. Jaishankar.
Yes, and since September 2021, we have seen how India has not only called out Pakistan, but they have also rejected UN HRC chief Michelle Bachelet's criticism of the situation then. And India had said that it is unwarranted remarks, do not reflect the ground reality. Sushil Pandit, the counter can also be that normalcy narrative. How do we forget that there has been targeted killings of Hindus since the first killing of Rahul Bhatt on May 12th? There have been targeted killings of Hindu minorities in the region.
That's true, Maria. There is a relentlessness about this campaign, which neither is separatism, nor is militancy or terrorism. It should be called by the name they give themselves. It is jihad. It is pure, naked, unadulterated jihad. They check the identities of people before they kill them. This is on very clearly religious identity lines. And that is why the Hindu minority of Kashmir has been cleansed. There is a genocide for which Pakistan cannot escape blame. They have funded it, they have armed it, and they have caused it. Now, as far as continuous killings are concerned, it is the responsibility of Indian state who still do not go and all out eliminate this scourge which continues to fester in Kashmir, because this winning hearts and minds mania continues to bind the security forces as well as the political will. Those who are tasked with the job of providing security and breaking the back of jihad in Kashmir are still confused, which is why on ground they only respond to the challenges, respond to the carnage, and not they have given up cordon and search, cordon and destroy.
You know,
they have given
yes,
up
Abdul
checkpoints, they have
Yaqub,
given
that
up
is the truth
friskings,
of
they have given
Kashmir.
up checking
That it's terrorism which is being sponsored by across the border from Pakistan, which is leading to these killings. Minorities who are being killed by terrorists, likes of Rajni Bala, Kashmiri Hindu teacher. There has been a killing of a migrant laborer. All of them killed only because they were going to be part of the narrative of Naya Kashmir. Abdul Yaqub will respond and then I'll go back to Sushil Pandit. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, it is very clear that minority anywhere in the world, any part of the world, if they are suffered, if they are victimized, if they are terrorized, I will strongly condemn it. This should be very clearly conveyed. The second part is again I would say that this is the outstanding issue from the 75 years. And you will keep accusing Pakistan for sending war.
Sushil Pandit, respond to this. I don't know from where it is. Where has this outstanding issue come up?
No, this is sanctimoniousness. This sanctimonious condemnation of minorities being killed. One should look at one's own country. You have eliminated Hindus from Pakistan. They are dwindled to less than 1.5% of your population. What is your condemnation worth? Nothing. Girls, minor girls are abducted every year and forcibly converted and married off to middle-aged Muslim men. You please look at what is happening in Pakistan to minorities. And this sanctimonious condemnation will not work. You have committed a genocide of non-Muslims in Pakistan. And you have funded and armed a genocide of minorities, non-Muslims in Kashmir. Face this fact. This bland condemnation will not work.
So even if you are not accepting my condemnation, I mean, show some grace. I mean, show some grace to accept the condemnation. I mean, someone sitting in Pakistan who always raised the voice of the minorities in Pakistan, who always raised
what use is this condemnation? You have wiped out the Muslims, the non-Muslims, the Hindus, the Sikhs in Pakistan. What use is this condemnation? This is ritual. This is a fig leaf. This is a fig leaf. This is a ritual. You commit on TV shows and get away with it. Please address the genocide of non-Muslims in Pakistan first.
Not fair at all that you are challenging, you are daring to challenge or making any.
Okay, let me bring Ahmed Ayaz as well. Ahmed Ayaz, how are you looking at this much needed move by the government in which the victims, who are the real stakeholders in Kashmir, they took stage and they explained and shared their story?
You see, it is true that Kashmir had been a bone contention between India and Pakistan since 1947, and the matter was taken to the UN, and there were many bilateral meetings thereafter. One in Agra, and then one in Shimla, and then summit Agra summit.
Let's talk about present. Let's talk about India post abrogation of Article 370 and 2019.
I'm just going. Just going. So in the process, a lot of things happened. As we call it, because of the military and then militant encounters, a lot of, fears have been, people got killed and fears.
I know my history, Mr. Ayaz. Can you just come to the point, please?
No, well, if someone goes to the UN and represents the case in the as human, as violation of human rights, then they are within their rights. And point is, it's not only a particular person has, his human rights are affected. Everybody's human rights are affected in Kashmir. Say, for example, the people who are living, the majority. Do you think that they are in a position to freely move ahead and see that their rights are protected? No. You take Article 370 when it was abrogated. For how many months, how many days people were confined to their houses? Their telephones were cut off. Their communication was cut off. Their transport was off. They could not go to the hospital. You see, everybody has suffered the human rights because of this conflict. We can't say, no, it's only Hindu or a particular person. Everybody is an effect of this conflict, and even now also, we continue with that violation. We don't really move. You see, what exactly mean the human rights violation? We are living in a particular state or a country.
The point being made by those who spoke at UNHRC was that this is exported terrorism, that it is coming from Pakistan. And that is the reason why you cannot have that general idea or general viewpoint of everybody suffering. That is where you give in to the false propaganda that is coming from. Yes, Sushil Pandit, go ahead. You wanted to make a point. Yes. Let's have Sushil Pandit and Ahmed Ayaz on the screen. Yes.
The vacuousness of such claims is evident when lack of internet and telephone lines is violation of human rights. But a genocide of minorities is not even accounted for. Do you see the moral equivalence that everybody is suffering? One is suffering the lack of communication, and another is suffering a complete lack of life. And these two are comparables. This is what we have reduced this farce to. This is incredible, coming from a seasoned journalist, an experienced man sitting and commenting on Kashmir. That is why the hypocrisy needs to be called out every time such equivalences are cited.
I'll give the final words to Ashok Sajjan.
I will just respond.
Yes, quickly. Ahmed Ayaz, 20 seconds.
I never mean that the Kashmiri Pundits human rights have not been violated or they are not affected. I never mean that. I say every you in a one way and the others in a different way.
No, the point here is false equivalences. You are talking about, no, the problem here is the argument that is being talked about in this context. You are talking about everybody, that there is no everybody here. On one hand, there is a targeted killing of minorities.
I never mean compare. I am not comparing.
Rahul Bhatt and Rajni Balas, what was their crime?
Absolutely.
What was their crime? Let's talk about them. Let's put the spotlight on those who deserve, not make a generic argument. Let me give the final words to Ashok Sajjan. Ashok Sajjan.
Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you.
Increasingly, we are seeing India effectively communicating its point of view and really saying to the world that this is unwarranted. That this kind of building of lies around Kashmir is unwarranted.
No, absolutely. I quite agree. And what our the panelist from Pakistan is saying, that this is a bilateral issue. Maybe to an extent, I would agree with him that this is a bilateral issue because the Pakistan occupied Kashmir is still under the illegal occupation of Pakistan. So that is an issue that we have to resolve with Pakistan. That is an area that we have to get back from them. But of course, I do not agree with him that the core issue is that of Kashmir between the two countries. He should understand that the core issue between the two countries is of terrorism. Once terrorism from Pakistan stops, maybe we can start moving forward. The final point, Maria, I would like to make is, those people, not only in your panel, but also internationally, who are trying to equate this disruption of communication and internet with loss of life. If the internet is disrupted, it is done temporarily to provide security to the people. Also, if there are issues, there is always a remedy available domestically, whether it is the National Human Rights Commission or others. What is coming from across the border, there are no remedies for that. They will come and they will kill people and they will go away.
Absolutely.
So, I don't think there is any equivalence whatsoever.
Absolutely. Ashok Sajjan, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Abdul Samad Yaqub, Ahmed Ayaz, Sushil Pandit and Tuhin Sinha. We're slipping into a short break. Coming up, outrage on the streets of Afghanistan after terrorists target an education center in Kabul, killing over 50 people. Women are now leading the charge, demanding justice.
Farmers were killed on 3rd of October 2021 in Lakhimpur cave. A massive fire broke out at a Durga Puja pandal in Uttar Pradesh's Bhadohi.
3 kids and 2 women died while 64 others were injured after a fire broke out in a Durga Puja pandal in Uttar Pradesh's Bhadoi district. Incident occurred during the Aarti ritual on the 7th day of the Navratri festival. Around 150 persons were present inside the pandal when the blaze broke out. Firefighters rushed to the spot and rescued the injured. The injured, mostly children and women, are currently undergoing treatment at various hospitals. As per the doctors, at least 5 of them are in critical condition. Preliminary reports suggest that the incident happened due to a short circuit.
Authorities in Delhi were put on high alert this morning after inputs were received about the possibility of a bomb on board an Iranian passenger flight while it was in Indian airspace. The Mahan Air flight reportedly sought permission to land in Delhi. After the plane was landed safely in Guangzhou, hours later, Mahan Airlines issued a statement saying that reports of a bomb on board the flight were fake and that the flight was completely safe. The carrier says it seems that the design of such reports was aimed at disturbing security. As the Russian invasion of Ukraine enters its 8th month, an opera house in Kharkiv, which was hit and destroyed by a missile, has now been converted into a memorial of sorts.
This year behind is a memorial to those who died fighting and to those still fighting for Ukraine, fighting bloody battles and very difficult battles. And beneath that memorial, all around it, the sandbags and the flowers between them say just about everything that needs to be said about Kharkiv today.
Not many people walk by these flowers anymore or stop to look at them. Most people who lived around them have left. No tourist steps by to set eyes on them. But quite obviously, a lot of Kharkiv's gardeners have not left, and they are no more immune to missiles than anyone else.
The USS Gerald R. Ford is ready to set sail. It is the most expensive warship in the world right now. It was procured at an estimated cost of $13 billion. It was inducted into the US Navy's TUCWAR fleet back in 2017. It uses electromagnetic systems for launching planes. It is named after the 38th President of the United States, Gerald R. Ford. The Buckingham Palace has unveiled a new portrait of the royal family. King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla are pictured posing at the palace together in their black mourning attire the night before the Queen's funeral. The photograph will now adorn the walls of the palace amid several other historic portraits.
Welcome back. Female students in Afghanistan took to streets for a 3rd day in a row today to seek justice for the victims of last week's suicide bombing of an education center in Kabul as the death toll continues to rise. The UN assistance mission in Afghanistan has said that the powerful blast killed at least 53 people, including 46 girls and women, and wounded more than 100. Survivors say there were 400 boys and girls separated by a curtain in the line with Taliban's instructions, taking a mock university entrance exam when the bomber detonated explosives in the girls' section. The attack took place in a Shia Hazara neighborhood. Taliban government has come under severe criticism for failing to provide security to what rights groups see as the most persecuted Afghan minority group. The violence has sparked domestic and international outrage, prompting Afghan female students in several cities to stage protests. Today, dozens of university students marched through the streets of Mazar-e-Sharif, the capital of northern Balkh province, demanding justice for the victims. Joining me now is M. Ashraf Haidari. He is the ambassador of Afghanistan to Sri Lanka. He's joining me from Colombo. Mr. Haidari, appreciate your time. Women have always been the cannon fodder in conflict zones. So what happened to all those promises of new Taliban and changed Taliban when this regime took over?
Well, unfortunately, we've been saying from the very beginning that the Taliban have only changed for the worse. This time around, the only difference is that they have inherited NATO equipment and uniforms, given NATO's premature withdrawal from Afghanistan and a colossal betrayal of our democracy, abandoning the people of Afghanistan, the women of Afghanistan, in these cruel hands of medieval terrorists superimposed on the Afghan nation of 40 million. We just saw, unfortunately, this genocidal terrorist attack on the educational center of Kaj and Dashte Barchi of Kabul, killing almost and injuring 200 innocent girls ages between 16 and 24. And they were there to take a university entrance examination in order to have a secure future, which the Taliban and as well as their...
Mr. Hadri, do you see this targeted killing of women in particular? Because if there is a curtain between the boys and the girls, a tradition which has been brought by this Taliban regressive regime, then and the bomb explodes only in the girls section, would you see this as targeted killing of women and the girls there?
Absolutely. It has been targeted primarily women, but also men of Afghanistan. That's why we have a gender apartheid in place. As soon as the Taliban took over Kabul and the rest of Afghanistan, they enforced the same gender apartheid which was in place under their control in the 1990s, which is sidelining more than half of Afghanistan's population, denying them their basic human rights, including a secondary education. And despite that, of course, these girls have been preparing in defiance of the Taliban for the university examination to simply have a normal life.
But why has Taliban regime's response for action been so lukewarm? Why are they not even looking at a possible crackdown, or are they really accomplices here?
Well, the Taliban regime itself is implicated and very tolerant of the targeting of this specific Shia Hazara community of Afghanistan, much like they have been implicated in the targeting of Afghanistan's other minorities, including the Sikhs and Hindus. Remember that all of our very treasured Hindu and Sikh brothers and sisters have left Afghanistan, and that's for a reason why they did not leave before the fall of the Islamic Republic, but they have done so over the past year, and we have probably very few of them left in Afghanistan. They're also desperately trying to at least get to India for protection.
Let me ask you the final words. Since you're seeing this as targeted killing of women and Shia Hazara, is the world going to only wait and watch for them to continue with this kind of genocide?
It's very tragic that the international community has been watching. It's tragic that the United Nations Secretary General recently appointed a fact-finding commission to look into, a summary killing of Ukrainians, and yet he's been very tolerant of what has been happening to this specific community and the rest of the Afghan people in Afghanistan. Remember, UNAMA used to produce these annual reports of over 10,000 Afghans killed and wounded by the Taliban. Back then, of course, there was no mention of Daesh or presence of Daesh in Afghanistan. It was the Taliban, supported by Pakistan next door, butchering the Afghan people, killing 10,000s, a large numbers. That's why I've always called it a genocidal terrorism. It's a genocide as we speak happening in Afghanistan, and I call right now through this medium on the international community, on the United Nations Security Council, the Secretariat, and the General Assembly to look into this, to investigate this, for the Secretary General to assign a fact-finding mission to go and work with the human rights rapporteur to investigate.
Yes, or will the world, as it has done in multiple occasions, only turn a blind eye to what is happening against Shia Hazara and the women in Afghanistan? Mr. Hadri, appreciate your time. I'll be putting those interviews on news18.com. That's all from me. Thanks so much. I'll be seeing you.
Two floors of the three-story building have been demolished already. Police and fire department soon reached the spot, while the State Disaster Response Force and the National Disaster Response Force was also called in. Rescue operations were called off around 11 a.m.
A 7-year-old child died during treatment after getting critically injured in an e-scooter blast in Vasai in Mumbai. A case has been registered and further investigation has been initiated by the Manikpur police station. Thousands of farmers gathered to mark the Lakhimpur violence anniversary in Tikonia in Uttar Pradesh. Our farmer leader Rakesh Tiket was in attendance at the event. Heavy police was also deployed for security arrangements. A total of 8 people, including a journalist, 4 farmers, were killed on 3rd of October 2021 in Lakhimpur cave. A massive fire broke out at a Durga Puja pandal in Uttar Pradesh's Bhadohi.
3 kids and 2 women died while 64 others were injured after a fire broke out in a Durga Puja pandal in Uttar Pradesh's Bhadohi district. Incident occurred during the Aarti ritual on the 7th day of the Navratri festival. Around 150 persons were present inside the pandal when the blaze broke out. Firefighters rushed to the spot and rescued the injured. The injured, mostly children and women, are currently undergoing treatment at various hospitals. As per the doctors, at least 5 of them are in critical condition. Preliminary reports suggest that the incident happened due to a short circuit.
Authorities in Delhi were put on high alert this morning after inputs were received about the possibility of a bomb on board an Iranian passenger flight while it was in Indian airspace. The Mahan Air flight reportedly sought permission to land in Delhi. After the plane was landed safely in Guangzhou, hours later, Mahan Airlines issued a statement saying that reports of a bomb on board the flight were fake and that the flight was completely safe. The carrier says it seems that the design of such reports was aimed at disturbing security. As the Russian invasion of Ukraine enters its 8th month, an opera house in Kharkiv, which was hit and destroyed by a missile, has now been converted into a memorial of sorts.
This year behind is a memorial to those who died fighting and to those still fighting for Ukraine, fighting bloody battles and very difficult battles. And beneath that memorial, all around it, the sandbags and the flowers between them say just about everything that needs to be said about Kharkiv today.
Not many people walk by these flowers anymore or stop to look at them. Most people who lived around them have left. No tourist steps by to set eyes on them. But quite obviously, a lot of Kharkiv's gardeners have not left, and they are no more immune to missiles than anyone else.
The USS Gerald R. Ford is ready to set sail. It is the most expensive warship in the world right now. It was procured at an estimated cost of $13 billion. It was inducted into the US Navy's TUCWAR fleet back in 2017. It uses electromagnetic systems for launching planes. It is named after the 38th President of the United States, Gerald R. Ford. The Buckingham Palace has unveiled a new portrait of the royal family. King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla are pictured posing at the palace together in their black mourning attire the night before the Queen's funeral. The photograph will now adorn the walls of the palace amid several other historic portraits. Massive cleanup drives have begun in parts of Florida after the state was battered by Hurricane Ian. Described as one of the largest natural disasters in Florida's history, at least 67 people died, and officials fear that that number could rise further. Several residents in areas are still dealing with the ramifications of the flood. What started off with the death of one woman in Iran, the anti-hijab protests are now intensifying across the globe.
Hello and welcome to the late night edition with me, Ayushman Singh Jamwal. Our top story is that security has been beefed up across Jammu and Kashmir in view of Home Minister Amit Shah's 3-day visit to the Union Territory. Amit Shah touched down in Jammu and met Gujjar, Bakarwal, Sikh, Pahari and Rajput delegations in Jammu and Kashmir. The Union Home Minister is expected to announce scheduled tribe status for the Pahari community. He will address 2 rallies in Rajouri and Baramulla on Tuesday and Wednesday. The possibility of granting ST status to the Paharis, however, has triggered a political row and dissension within the National Conference, even as members of the Gujjar tribe held protests in Shopian today, asking the centre not to fiddle with the ST status of the community. To decode the entire push coming in from the centre in Jammu and Kashmir, I'm joined by Nirmal Singh, former Deputy Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you, Dr. Singh, for joining us on the broadcast on CNN News 18. My first question to you, Dr. Singh, is you received the Home Minister at the Jammu airport 3 years since the abrogation of Article 370. Is the government on track with its mission of Badlav and Vikas in Jammu and Kashmir?
Definitely. And that was the purpose. And you have seen that how much change has come to Jammu and Kashmir. As of now, terrorism has come down, the killings have come down, the tourist season was full, hotels were jam-packed, theatres have started, and Kashmir is earning livelihood. That's a change. And you will see that this in future, the government is going to start the process of elections. It is already on. And that's the purpose of the government, central government also. With that purpose, Amit Shah, he has come, and you will see that because he is visiting the border areas, which is the prime concern of the central government, because the Pakistan is trying to send this terrorists across the border. Our Home Minister will interact with the people, Pahari people there, Gujars, Bakwas, other people, whether it's in Rajouri or in Baramulla. And we hope that a big announcement is there tomorrow. And for that, we are waiting very eagerly.
Absolutely. A big announcement expected when it comes to the status of these tribal communities. Dr. Singh, if we go into specifics when it comes to the BJP's Jammu and Kashmir mission, the security of migrants remains a concern, especially in the Kashmir Valley. The power crisis continues in Jammu and Kashmir. It's still an issue. Is it becoming a challenge to hold the public's trust over these issues if we look at the Kashmir Valley as well as parts of the Jammu region?
You see that during the last more than 70 years, what was the situation in Jammu and Kashmir? Everything was destroyed. There was pure politics, and that is again a separatist politics, terrorism. 42,000 people they were killed in Jammu and Kashmir, and we have got only 3.5 years, about 3 years, to reconstruct the economy, to bring Jammu and Kashmir on the rails, and you see that there is a sea change, and there is progress and prosperity. It has started. New investment is coming, but 3 years are not sufficient time for such activity. Though there are challenges which you have mentioned, power crises are there, but there is a lot of improvement. We see that the unemployment is a big problem here, and the government is trying to bring in this foreign investment. New factories are being raised, they are constructed, new investment is coming. And we hope that in future, the youth of Jammu and Kashmir will get this employment in Jammu and Kashmir. So ultimately, the people of Jammu and Kashmir, whether they are from Jammu or Kashmir, they are looking this prospects in Jammu and Kashmir. That's why, despite this Gupkar people, there's Mehbooba Mufti, Umar Abdullah, Farooq Abdullah, speaking different languages, instigating the people, they are not listening to them. That's a fact. And that shows that the people of Jammu and Kashmir, they have great faith in the central government, in the state Jammu and Kashmir UT government.
Right. And Dr. Singh, that brings me to my next question. Now, as you are pointing out that sources have told us that the elections could kick off next year in Jammu and Kashmir. The security situation is delicate. Vikas is still an ongoing project. As you have pointed out, 3 years is not enough to achieve all these massive goals when it comes to revamping Jammu and Kashmir. But do you feel that you have been able to gain a foothold in the Kashmir Valley and eroded the Gupkar alliance's influence in the Kashmir Valley? BJP is already the dominant player in the Jammu region, but when it comes to the Kashmir Valley, has the BJP been able to gain a foothold?
In Kashmir, we are getting a good response, but you see that these Gupkar people, whether it's NC or PDP, their graph has gone down, and the new leadership is coming up in the shape of different political groups, whether it's Apni Party or People's Conference, and Ghulam Nabi Azhar has started new party. That shows that those people who were anti-BJP who were not following the line of the integrationist politics, they are divided. And ultimately, you'll see that BJP is going to play a very important role in future after the elections. That's very clear.
Right. My final question, Dr. Singh. Now, there is a major campaign to challenge Pakistan's propaganda on the international stage. We have seen today that you had victims of the terror campaign in Jammu and Kashmir now speak at the United Nations Human Rights Council. Do you believe that the center has achieved a paradigm shift on the international stage when it comes to talking about Jammu and Kashmir and, most importantly, countering Pakistan's propaganda?
Definitely. If you remember, during Congress time, Kashmir was the central point. That was the core issue. Now terrorism is the core issue. Separatism is the core issue. That's the shift which came after BJP got the power. When Narendra Bhai Modi, our Honorable Prime Minister, he became the Prime Minister. That's a paradigm shift. And ultimately, previously, only few countries were siding with India. Now, whole of the world, almost complete, barring 2-3 countries, China, there's Turkey and other people, some other countries, even Middle East countries, Islamic countries, they are following India. They are supporting India and Kashmir. And Pakistan is completely isolated. And other countries who are opposing us, they don't have the guts to oppose Indian stand in the UN. They are speaking very, you can say, they are though opposing, but in a very, you can say, mild language. That's the paradigm shift which you are saying.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Singh, for joining us on CNN News 18 and giving us your view when it comes to the multifaceted campaign of the BJP government to revamping the situation in Jammu and Kashmir, from security to Vikas to even how the world talks about Kashmir, challenging Pakistan propaganda and revamping the entire image of the entire Kashmir issue. Now, shifting focus to some more breaking news that's coming in from the Kashmir Valley. Now, as Home Minister Amit Shah takes stock of the law and order situation in the Union Territory, the threat to migrants continues, ladies and gentlemen. Reports suggest terrorists tried to attack a bank manager in the Patan area of Baramulla. Now, the preliminary investigation has revealed that the terrorists tried to attack Vivek Kumar, a resident of Dehradun, who is working as a manager of the Grameen Bank. Fortunately, the terrorists failed to launch the attack. Vivek Kumar is unhurt and he's safe, but this has sparked another call for migrants to be shifted out of the Kashmir Valley. That's the big piece of news coming in, where terrorists have tried to target another migrant worker, this time another bank manager, this one in the Baramulla area of the Kashmir Valley. I'm joined by my colleague Mufti Isla to get the latest in this case. Mufti, over to you.
Well, yes, here was another incident where militants tried to target non-locals, and they've done it in the past also. We know laborers have been attacked, bank officers have been attacked, and even teachers have been attacked. So today, the militants tried an abortive bid, which, however, luck was with the bank manager that he is still alive, because the bullets which were fired at him somehow did not strike him, and in fact they went in a different direction. Clearly, this bank manager had reached his office in Patan area of Baramulla when there was firing towards him. He escaped, and police initially told us that, well, they're going to look into this case, whether this is correct or not. But subsequently, they later in the day issued a statement wherein now it's clarified that it was actually a militant attack on this particular bank manager named Vivek Kumar. He happens to be, as you said, from Uttarakhand. At present, he was working in Dobiwan, which is in Kunzar. It's on the Srinagar-Gulmarg road, where this attack had really taken place. However, militants couldn't succeed and they had to run because there was a lot of noise from the people who came out, and luckily luck was on the side of this particular bank manager that he could survive. Otherwise, they had really tried to strike at him. And this attack actually was to take place on a day when, in the evening, Union Home Minister Amit Shah was to make his visit into the valley. As you know, Mr. Shah will be in Jammu tomorrow, and then on Wednesday he will be arriving into Kashmir, where he's going to hold a rally in Baramulla. So all in all, militants trying to again strike at non-locals, which seemed to be their idea. However, as I said, luck was really on the side of this manager of Grameen Bank.
Right. So yeah, right. Thank you, Mufti, for joining us on the broadcast. So a narrow escape for this banker who hails from Dehradun. He was working in the Baramulla area, and but the threat to migrants continues in the Kashmir Valley, even as the crackdown on terror continues in Jammu and Kashmir. Now shifting focus to some more breaking news. This one coming in from the maximum city of Mumbai. Mumbai Airport Customs has seized close to 1 kilogram of cocaine worth 9.8 crore from a Ugandan woman. Contraband was found concealed in undergarments. The suspect has been arrested and remanded to judicial custody. That's the piece of breaking news that's coming in. Those visuals on your screen about cocaine worth 9.8 crore that was concealed in undergarments. A Ugandan woman has been arrested and sent to judicial custody after this contraband was seized from her. This was hidden in her undergarments. It's worth 9.8 crore. This cocaine on your screen is worth 9.8 crore, and it was seized at the Mumbai airport, where this Ugandan woman has been arrested and now sent to judicial remand. Shifting focus to some more breaking news. Now this is coming in when it comes to the investigation into the 2021 JEE mains examination case. Now a Russian hacker has been detained by the CBI at the Indira Gandhi International Airport. He is being interrogated in connection to this case. The accused has been identified as Mikhail Shargin. That's the piece of breaking news that's coming in, where a Russian hacker in connection to this infamous case has now been detained by the CBI. I'm joined by my colleague Siddhant. Siddhant, give us an overview of this case and what role does the CBI suspect this hacker of playing?
Well, look, this case was filed by last year in the month of September. So there were some credible inputs with Central Bureau of Investigation then, and director of the agency asked the investigators to go ahead. And later they cracked this major scam which was going on in the form of hacking. Now, this group used to hack computers through remote access and solve the question paper for the candidates, those who were appearing in the JEE mains. Now, they used to charge 12 to 15 lakhs from one student. So there were multiple centers which were also raided. And in fact, at that time, CBI wrote to the government of India also to take certain precautions at the time of examination. In fact, the agency which were given contract, the people from that agency were also questioned by Central Bureau of Investigation. Now today, this Russian national who has been named as an accused in this matter, LOC was issued by CBI against him then. Today he was returning from Kazakhstan and he was immediately detained by Immigration Bureau officials at the airport. So there is an Immigration Bureau set up at the Delhi airport. So immediately he was detained and Central Bureau teams reached Delhi airport and they identified this person, and later he was brought to the headquarters. And right now he's being questioned, and we have been told that shortly he will be placed under the arrest by CBI team.
Right. Thank you, Siddhant, for joining us on the broadcast with that piece of breaking news. We're going to take a short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Flying at very high altitudes and armed with a range of missiles. The LCH has a number of stealth features, armored protection systems, night attack capability and crash-worthy landing gear for better survivability. The helicopter has been tested in the Ladakh region, where India faces the threat of Chinese incursions. Developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, the Prachand helicopter will be the bedrock of the country's combat helicopter formations. 95 of these choppers will go to the Indian Army and almost 65 to the Air Force.
All right, let me tell you a little bit more about these light combat helicopters. They're twin-engine. They've been designed and developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. They can target the enemy from a distance of about 2 kilometers. And the great advantage of the LCH is that it can take off and land at an altitude of 5,000 meters. Armed with 20 MV nose gun as well as 70 mm rockets, it has air-to-air missile capabilities as well, which can intercept up to 6.5 kilometers. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has arrived in Jammu and Kashmir for his 3-day visit to the Union Territory. Security has been beefed up across Jammu and Kashmir in view of the Home Minister's visit. He will be visiting the Mata Vaishno Devi temple tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then will hold a mega rally in Rajouri right after that. Congress interim President Sonia Gandhi today arrived in Mysuru. She's scheduled to join the Bharat Jodo Yatra led by Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on the 6th of October, a day after Dashera. Currently passing through BJP-ruled Karnataka, the Yatra is in its second stage and it's set to move with its 125 designated Yatris from Mysuru this Thursday. The wall of a multi-story building collapsed in Gurugram, killing 2 labourers.
2 labourers died and another was injured after the wall of a multi-story building collapsed in Udyog Vihar Phase 1 area of Gurugram. The incident happened in the morning when labourers were carrying out demolition work of an old factory. The wall suddenly came crumbling, leaving the labourers trapped under the rubble. 2 floors of the 3-story building have been demolished already. Police and fire departments soon reached the spot, while the State Disaster Response Force and the National Disaster Response Force was also called in. Rescue operations were called off around 11 a.m.
A 7-year-old child died during treatment after getting critically injured in an e-scooter blast in Vasai in Mumbai. A case has been registered and further investigation has been initiated by the Manikpur police station. Thousands of farmers gathered to mark the Lakhimpur violence anniversary in Tikonia in Uttar Pradesh. Farmer leader Rakesh Tiket was in attendance at the event. Heavy police was also deployed for security arrangements. A total of 8 people, including a journalist, 4 farmers, were killed on the 3rd of October 2021 in Lakhimpur Kheri. A massive fire broke out at a Durga Puja pandal in Uttar Pradesh's Bhadohi.
3 kids and 2 women died while 64 others were injured after a fire broke out in a Durga Puja pandal in Uttar Pradesh's Bhadohi district. Incident occurred during the Aarti ritual on the 7th day of the Navratri festival. Around 150 persons were present inside the pandal when the blaze broke out. Firefighters rushed to the spot and rescued the injured. The injured, mostly children and women, are currently undergoing treatment at various hospitals. As per the doctors, at least 5 of them are in critical condition. Preliminary reports suggest that the incident happened due to a short circuit.
Authorities in Delhi were put on high alert this morning after inputs were received about the possibility of a bomb on board an Iranian passenger flight while it was in Indian airspace. The Mahan Air flight reportedly sought permission to land in Delhi. After the plane was landed safely in Guangzhou, hours later, Mahan Airlines issued a statement saying that reports of a bomb on board the flight were fake and that the flight was completely safe. The carrier says it seems that the design of such reports was aimed at disturbing security. As the Russian invasion of Ukraine enters its 8th month, an opera house in Kharkiv, which was hit and destroyed by a missile, has now been converted into a memorial of sorts.
This year behind is a memorial to those who died fighting and to those still fighting for Ukraine, fighting bloody battles and very difficult battles. And beneath that memorial, all around it, the sandbags and the flowers between them say just about everything that needs to be said about Kharkiv today.
Not many people walk by these flowers anymore or stop to look at them. Most people who lived around them have left. No tourist steps by to set eyes on them. But quite obviously, a lot of Kharkiv's gardeners have not left, and they are no more immune to missiles than anyone else.
The USS Gerald R. Ford is ready to set sail. It is the most expensive warship in the world right now. It was procured at an estimated cost of $13 billion. It was inducted into the US Navy's TUCWAR fleet back in 2017. It uses electromagnetic systems for launching planes. It is named after the 38th President of the United States, Gerald R. Ford. The Buckingham Palace has unveiled a new portrait of the royal family. King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla are pictured posing at
Welcome back. And a big push to India's Atmanirbhar mission in the defence sector. The nation has got its first indigenous light combat helicopter today. It was inducted by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh taking a sortie in newly inducted light combat helicopter Prachand. Dressed in flying gear, the Defence Minister climbed into the cockpit of the combat helicopter with his co-pilot. The induction of Prachand choppers into the Air Force is a big boost to its combat prowess. These choppers are capable of flying at very high altitudes and armed with a range of missiles. The LCH has a number of stealth features, armoured protection systems, night attack capability and crash-worthy landing gear for better survivability. The helicopter has been tested in the Ladakh region where India faces the threat of Chinese incursions. Developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, the Prachand helicopter will be the bedrock of the country's combat helicopter formations. 95 of these choppers will go to the Indian Army and almost 65 to the Air Force.
And that's all we have to pack in on the show. Good night and take care.
23 weeks of unparalleled domination. India's indisputable #1. CNN News 18 on your side.
Down violently on mostly peaceful nationwide protests.
The Aphar Wat Mountains in the Pir Panjal range of Gulmarg received this season's first snowfall. Following the change of weather, several ski resorts located in Baramulla and North Kashmir have rejoiced at the opening of this year's business with the onset of snowfall. The snowfall is the sign of the beginning of winter in the valley. Meanwhile, talking about blows, an explosion, a huge one, happened in a market in Trichy. It left one person dead and several injured. It was because of a helium tank which burst.
A helium cylinder exploded in Tamil Nadu's Tiruchirappalli, killing one person while around 24 people got injured. The explosion happened in a busy marketplace, and being a weekend, the area was crowded with people. The victim was identified as Mathu Ravi and was seen smoking right next to the cylinder, which led to the explosion. As per initial reports, the helium cylinder belonged to a person who was selling balloons in the area and is missing. The cops have collected CCTV visuals of the incident and have started an investigation.
One person died and several others were injured as a passenger bus fell into a roadside ditch in Udhampur in Jammu Kashmir. The unfortunate accident happened in the wee hours this morning. The injured have been shifted to hospital where they are undergoing treatment right now. A film crew entering the premises of Gurdwara Panja Sahib without permission in Punjab province in Pakistan has outraged the Sikh community there. The crew was also seen wearing shoes while they were shooting inside the Gurdwara. BJP leader Manjinder Singh Sirsa sharing a video of the incident. This is back from the 29th of September earlier this year. He condemned the act and demanded that the Indian government take prompt action and raise this issue with the Pakistan government.
ਸਾਰਾ ਸਟਾਰ ਕਾਸਟ ਜੁੱਤਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਦਿਖਾਈ ਦੇ ਰਿਹਾ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ਰਧਾਲੂ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਬਣਾਈ ਜਿਸਨੇ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਬਣਾਈ ਉਹ ਵੀਡੀਓ 'ਚ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੁਣ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਪਕੋ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਸਿੱਖੀ कैसे मिली है ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਹੈ 29 ਤਰੀਕ ਤੋਂ ਇਹ ਆਦਮੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਭਦਾ ਪਿਆ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਸਨ ਨੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਇਸ ਤੇ ਕਾਰਵਾਈ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅੰਦਰ ਬੰਦ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਔਰ ਜਿਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਰਧਾਲੂ ਨੇ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਜਨਤਕ ਕੀਤੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਆ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਦੀ ਰਾਖੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਦੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਰੰਤ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਦੀ ਬੇਅਦਬੀ ਕੀਤੀ
India got its first Made in India light combat helicopter, the LCH, today, and it was inducted into service by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh taking a sortie in newly inducted light combat helicopter Prachand. Dressed in flying gear, the Defence Minister climbed into the cockpit of the combat helicopter with his co-pilot. The induction of Prachand choppers into the Air Force is a big boost to its combat prowess. These choppers are capable of flying at very high altitudes and armed with a range of missiles. The LCH has a number of stealth features, armoured protection systems, night attack capability and crash-worthy landing gear for better survivability. The helicopter has been tested in the Ladakh region where India faces the threat of Chinese incursions. Developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, the Prachand helicopter will be the bedrock of the country's combat helicopter formations. 95 of these choppers will go to the Indian Army and almost 65 to the Air Force.
All right, let me tell you a little bit more about these light combat helicopters. They're twin engine. They've been designed and developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. They can target the enemy from a distance of about 2 kilometers. And the great advantage of the LCH is that it can take off and land at an altitude of 5,000 meters. Armed with 20 MV nose gun as well as 70 mm rockets, it has air-to-air missile capabilities as well, which can intercept up to 6.5 kilometers. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has arrived in Jammu and Kashmir for his 3-day visit to the Union Territory. Security has been beefed up across Jammu and Kashmir in view of the Home Minister's visit. He will be visiting the Mata Vaishno Devi temple tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then will hold a mega rally in Rajouri right after that. Congress interim President Sonia Gandhi today arrived in Mysuru. She's scheduled to join the Bharat Jodo Yatra led by Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on the 6th of October, a day after Dashera. Currently passing through BJP-ruled Karnataka, the Yatra is in its second stage and it's set to move with its 125 designated Yatris from Mysuru this Thursday. The wall of a multi-story building collapsed in Gurugram, killing 2 laborers.
2 laborers died and another was injured after the wall of a multi-story building collapsed in Udyog Vihar Phase 1 area of Gurugram. The incident happened in the morning when laborers were carrying out demolition work of an old factory. The wall suddenly came crumbling, leaving the laborers trapped under the rubble. 2 floors of the 3-story building have been demolished already. Police and fire department soon reached the spot, while the State Disaster Response Force and the National Disaster Response Force was also called in. Rescue operations were called off around 11 a.m.
A 7-year-old child died during treatment after getting critically injured. Good evening, this is Viewpoint. I'm Zakir Jacob. A delegation of Kashmiri Pundits has spoken for the very first time at the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. They have completely exposed how Pakistan, with the help of both local as well as foreign terrorists, has carried out mass killings. It led to the exodus of Kashmiri Pundits back in the 1990s. But the fact is that even today, Pundits are facing a security threat in Kashmir, as was evidenced in the killing of Rahul Bhatt, Rajni Bala and Makhanlal Bindru. The question is, the UNHRC itself may be a biased institution, certainly under its previous head, Michelle Bachelet, the former Chilean president. There were repeated reports that the UNHRC had put out questioning what is happening on the ground in Kashmir. The Indian government, both through the MEA as well as its representatives at the UNHRC, have given a firm response to that. The question right now is this. Now that the Pundits have spoken at the United Nations Human Rights Council, what face will Pakistan now have to say that what's happening in Kashmir is indigenously developed, it's a local problem, and that it has nothing to do with the export of terror from across the border? All right, before we go across to our panelists, I just want to bring you up to speed with some figures as to how Naya Kashmir, particularly after 5th of August 2019, has been rattling Pakistan. The terror export track record of Pakistan so far. Just in the last 1 year, up until May 2022, which is when we have data available, there were 62 terror attacks in Jammu and Kashmir until May 2022. This was submitted by the Union Home Ministry in a written reply in Parliament. 80 Pakistan-backed terrorists were killed just in the calendar year of 2022. This is until May. 128 security personnel were killed between August 2019 and June 2022. That's the period of course, right after the scrapping the abrogation of Article 370. And in that same period, 118 civilians were also killed in attacks between August 2019 and June of 2022. So the question that's being asked is, for the very first time, Kashmiri Pundits, who are a victimized group who were chased out of the Kashmir Valley, and also who even today are facing threats from terrorists, both within Kashmir and the exported variety that are exported from across the border. They have made their case before the highest human rights body of the United Nations. Let me go across to Lalit Ambardar. He's a Kashmiri activist. Sushant Sareen, senior fellow at the ORF. Arti Tuku is founder and editor-in-chief of The New Indian. She'll be joining us in a moment. And Ambassador Anil Trigunyat, former diplomat, also on the broadcast. Sushant, let me start with you first. The UNHRC itself is seemingly a biased organization, no doubt about it. In fact, under its previous chief, Michelle Bachelet, there were repeated reports that were brought out under her stewardship questioning what is happening in Kashmir. India, in fact, had responded to that, saying that the reports that have come out are fallacious, tendentious, and motivated, and that individual countries are trying to influence, and individuals are trying to influence the role of the UNHRC. Will the fact that Kashmiri Pundits today spoke and exposed Pakistan and its nefarious activities have any ramifications beyond the four walls of the UNHRC?
Zaka, I don't know what ramifications it will have if the conscience of the world was not shaken when over 500,000 Kashmiri Pundits were forcibly evicted from the Kashmir Valley by the terrorists out there. Then I don't know whether, the testimonies of the victims in the halls of Geneva will actually shake the conscience of these countries. Number two, please look at some of the countries which are members of the UNHRC. China, right? You have countries like Iran. You have countries like Pakistan. I could name an entire rogues gallery of countries which are members of the UNHRC. So to expect that these guys are going to actually, their conscience is going to be shaken, and that UNHRC is actually in the business of protecting human rights of people in various parts of the world, well, that's a